He is Mark. Look at him. Sharp suit, expensive glasses, a high-rise office, and a smile that screams success. Mark has spent the last 15 years doing exactly what society told him to do. He went to the right school, got the right job, and most importantly, he maintained the holy grail of the middle class, a perfect 800 credit score. To most people, Mark is the goal. But today, I'm going to tell you a secret that Mark S. Bank doesn't want you to know. Mark is broke. In fact, Mark is worse than broke. He is a high-level tenant of his own life. Every piece of clothing he wears, the car he drives, and the roof over his head belongs to a bank that views him not as a customer, but as an unpaid employee. If you've been told that a high credit score is your ticket to freedom, you'll be Ben lying. In 2026, a credit score is a measure of wealth at S, a measure of how well you can be controlled. It's a leash disguised as a trophy. And today, I am going to show you the math that is keeping millions of Marks trapped in a golden cage they can even see. Let's look at the anatomy of Mark's life. On paper, Mark earns $150,000 a year. In any other era, he'd be wealthy. But in 2026, the system has designed a specific trap for people like him. It's called the credit-induced coma. Because Mark has a perfect score, the banks have granted him the privilege of borrowing more than he can ever repay. He has a $700,000 mortgage. He has 2 luxury electric vehicles on a lease. He has low-interest furniture loans and a handful of platinum cards that give him cash back while they harvest his data and his future time. Mark thinks AS using the bank's money to live a better life. The reality? The bank is using Mark's life to build their balance sheet. Let's do the math. The banks pray you never do. At home, out of Mark's monthly paycheck, after the government takes its massive cut, 45% goes to debt service, not to the principal, to the interest. He is paying for the privilege of staying in debt. Another 20% goes to the lifestyle maintenance required to keep the job that allows him to pay the debt. By the time he pays for food, insurance, and the rising cost of energy in 2026, Mark is left with exactly zero. Mark isn't working for himself. He is a sophisticated delivery driver. Every month, he collects a paycheck and delivers it directly to the local branch of a global bank. He is a middleman between his own labor and the financial elite. And the most tragic part, he's proud of it. He's proud because the app on his phone tells him his score is high. This is the psychological warfare of 2026. The system has gamified your poverty. They give you points for taking on more debt. They give you status for being a reliable source of interest. But ask yourself this. If Mark lost his job tomorrow, how long would he stay successful? The answer is less than 30 days. That's not wealth. That's a high-wire act with no net. The credit score was invented in 1989. Think about that. For thousands of years of human civilization, we didn't need a 3-digit number to tell us if we were honorable or successful. It was created by the banking industry to standardize the extraction of wealth from the middle class. It was designed to move you away from equity and toward subscription. In the new economy, they don't want you to own anything. They want you to subscribe to your house, subscribe to your car, and subscribe to your very lifestyle. Mark is the perfect subscriber. He is so busy maintaining the appearance of wealth that he has no time to build actual wealth. He is trapped in the debt cage. And the bars of that cage are made of the very good debt that financial gurus told him to buy into. Use other people's money, they said. But they forgot to tell him that other people's money always comes with a claim on your future. In 2026, as we transition into a world of programmable money and social credit, this cage is getting tighter. Your credit score is the foundation for what's coming next, a system where your financial good behavior determines your access to society itself. Mark thinks AS winning because he's playing the game well. He doesn't realize that the game was rigged from the moment he signed his first loan document. If you are watching this and you feel like Mark, if you have the good job and the good score but you feel like you're drowning in a sea of monthly payments, need to understand that you are failing. You are just playing a game designed for you to lose. You are the fuel for the machine. But here's the good news. The door to the cage is unlocked. You just have to be willing to stop looking at the 800 on your screen and start looking at the 0 in your true freedom. So, how does Mark escape? How do you break a cage that has been built around you for decades? The first step is the most painful one. You have to stop caring about your credit score. In the world of 2026, we have been conditioned to treat our credit score like our pulse. We think if it drops, we die. But the architect understands a different truth. A credit score is only useful if you plan on staying in debt. If you want to be free, that number becomes irrelevant. You have to be willing to let that 800 drop to 600 if it means buying back your life. The escape starts with a process I call aggressive deleveraging. Mark needs to stop looking at his monthly payments and start looking at the total cost of his soul. He needs to list every single debt not by interest rate, but by the weight of the leash, every credit card, every car lease, every buy now pay later scheme. And then he has to become a minimalist for a season to become a monarch for a lifetime. Mark has to sell the luxury SUVs, yes, the ones that make the neighbors think he's successful. He needs to trade them for Adam's reliable, older vehicles that he owns outright. The moment Mark stops sending $1,200 a month to a car manufacturer, he has just given himself a $1,200 a month raise. He didn't have to work more hours. He just stopped being a delivery driver for the bank. But the escape isn't just about cutting costs. It's about a total asset realignment. In 2026, as inflation continues to melt the value of the dollar, holding debt is actually a trap within a trap. While some gurus say debt is good because you pay it back with cheaper dollars, they forget that in a volatile economy your income might not keep up with the cost of your debt's interest or the cost of your survival. The architect's strategy is simple. Zero counterparty risk. Mark needs to take every extra cent liberated from his debt payments and convert it into assets that no one can switch off. If Mark's wealth is tied to his credit line, he is vulnerable. If Mark's wealth is tied to physical gold, decentralized protocols, and productive land, he is sovereign. When you own your home, your car, and your tools outright, you are no longer a subscriber to the system. You are a citizen of your own economy. Think about the psychological shift that happens when Mark pays off his last credit card. Suddenly, he doesn't need that high-stress job to survive. He stays because he chooses to, or he leaves to build his own empire. The bank no longer has a claim on his Tuesday mornings. The credit score company no longer has a file on his good behavior. He has become invisible to the debt machine. In 2026, the divide between the paper class and the asset class is widening. The paper class is obsessed with credit scores, airline miles, and financing the latest tech. They are the ones who will be hit hardest when the digital dollar becomes programmable. The asset class architects is obsessed with ownership, privacy, and utility. They don't care if the bank gives them a loan because they don't need the bank's permission to exist. As we look toward the global reset, the debt cage will be used to filter the population. Those with high debt and high dependency will be forced to accept whatever terms the system dictates. But those who broke their chains, those who realize that a safe life built on credit is a house of cards, will be the ones who lead the next era. Mark has a choice. Today, he can keep his 800 score and remain a highly polished slave, or he can destroy the cage, lose the status, and find his freedom. It's not an easy path. It requires the discipline to say no to the world so you can say yes to your future. Stop feeding the parasite. Stop being proud of how much you can borrow and start being proud of how much you own. The door to the cage has been open this whole time. All you have to do is walk out and stop looking back. My name is Mark, and I'm here to help you build the blueprint for your exit. Welcome to the first day of your sovereignty